If you're a Pokemon card collector like me, and you've been collecting the latest 151 Pokemon card set, you're in luck. You're gonna be rich. It's your boy Mr. T Pokemon here, and in this video, we're going to talk about the top 10 cards from the Scarlet Violet 151 card series. This card series has been one of the most hyped card series in a really long time, and has been the main reason why a lot of card collectors have gotten back into collecting after being dormant for a really long time. You won't believe how much some of these cards are going for. So if you've been collecting a lot of these cards recently, you're going to want to get them graded or put them away in a really safe space because you won't believe how much some of these cards are worth. Let's get right into it. Coming in at number 10 is Erica's Invitation, which is a special illustration rare. This card is currently valued at $22. 3 months ago, this card was valued at $40. That represents a drop of about 45%. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is worth about $145. If you received a PSA 9, this card is only worth $40. This is such a cool card to have in your collection. Coming in at number 9, we have the Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is an illustration rare. The card is currently valued at $24. 3 months ago, this card was only valued at $12. That represents a 100% gain in value. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is currently worth $130. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $28. Leave this video a like if you chose Bulbasaur as your original starter way back ago. Coming in at number 8 is Squirtle, which is another illustration rare. This card is currently valued at $24, but 3 months ago, this card was worth only $11. That represents a gain of about 120% in just the 3 months. If you submitted this card for PSA grading and received a 10, this card is worth $230. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth a whopping $80. I guess this settles the age-old debate of whether Squirtle is better than Bulbasaur. At lucky number 7 is Charmander, who is another illustration rare. This card is currently valued at $28. 3 months ago, this card was valued at $17. That represents a gain of about 64%. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is worth $130. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $47. It's no doubt that Charmander was definitely the best starter. Coming in at number 6 is this Alakazam. This Alakazam is actually a special illustration rare. The card is valued at $34 today. 3 months ago, this card was also worth $34. That means in the 3 months, the card has changed 0% in value. If you submitted this card for grading and got a PSA 10, this card is worth $180. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $60. I personally think this is one of the best looking cards in the entire set. If you're liking what you're seeing, be sure to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing to our channel for more Pokemon content. Let's keep going. Coming in at number 5 is Charizard. This Charizard is the ultra rare card. This card is currently valued at $36. 3 months ago, this card was valued at $25. This represents a 3-month change of about 30% gain. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is worth $172. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $45. It's crazy that this ultra rare is worth this much, but look at it. Coming in at number 4 is Venusaur. This Venusaur is the special illustration rare. This card is currently valued at $41, and 3 months ago, this card was valued at $37. This represents a 3-month gain of about 10%. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is worth a whopping $240. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $55. This card will always hold a special place in my heart because it's the first special illustration rare card that I pulled from 151. Before we get into the top 3 most expensive cards in 151, be sure to check out this video where I opened 3 ultra premium collection boxes, and you won't believe the kinds of hits that I got from those 3 boxes. And stay tuned in our channel because we're going to be opening at least 4 more UPCs in an upcoming video, so keep your eye out for that. The third most expensive card is Zapdos. This is a special illustration rare. The card is currently valued at $38, and 3 months ago this card was valued at $41. This represents a 3-month drop of about 10%. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is worth $194. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $59. I think this is the second coolest looking card in the set after the Alakazam. Coming in at number 2 is Blastoise. This Blastoise is the special illustration rare. This card is currently valued at $42, and 3 months ago this card was valued at $38. This represents a 3-month gain of about 10%. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, this card is worth about $277. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $66. Blastoise is definitely cooler than Venusaur, but is nowhere near the number 1 card in the set. And the number 1 card in the set is Charizard. This is the special illustration rare Charizard. This card is currently valued at $117. 3 months ago, this card was valued at $105. This represents a 3-month gain of about 11%. If you submitted this card for grading and received a PSA 10, you won't believe this. This card is worth $470. If you received a PSA 9, this card is worth $140. I have yet to pull this card, but when I do, I am immediately going to submit it for grading. And there you have it. Didn't I tell you were going to be rich? These card values are absolutely off the charts, and they seem to be continuing to go up every single month. It's pretty crazy. I think these cards will hold their value for a really long time, and so if you haven't gotten your hands on any, be sure to get your hands on 151, open them, and keep them very safe if you're a careful collector. Be sure to stay tuned on this channel as we open way more ultra premium collection boxes on our hunt for that SIR Charizard. So if you want to be notified when that video comes out, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you get that notification. If you like this video, leave a like. As always, it's Mr. T Pokemon. I'll see you in the next one.